There's a lot of stuff that happened with Mozilla lately. I don't know if that's
I
worth getting
actually am
into or.
hoping that the new CEO actually like focuses more on the browser and less on this like on these products. I know they have to earn money. I'm not, but I think they can do it better by getting grants from companies. If Gnome got $1 million from somewhere in the EU and someone else related got like 300,000, something like that, you got to figure somebody out there has money for the only alternative browser.
Well, they got to do something because, like we mentioned, what was their share of the
It's like
browser space? 2%.
6% or something.
I think it was like
Oh, I'm thinking
2.2%.
of Linux. Linux is desktop. Linux is like 6%, I think.
So
Yeah, but they're saying that it's sliding back down, and that the whole reason that it had gone up was the Steam Deck.
the new CEO, Laura Chambers, is the new CEO. So Mitchell Baker, she was making $7 million a year for running Firefox into the ground. That's interesting.
And probably had a lovely golden parachute on the way out.
No, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It says she's
I
still
would
the
have done it for
chairperson.
much less. I would have run Firefox into the ground for
3.5.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah. Well, let's hope something changes. The last news update I gave about Mozilla said they laid off 60 people recently, and they want to build AI into Firefox. So they're already starting on a bad foot, I would say.
Why? What the? What?
Because
what
AI is the new buzzword.
Yes.
Yeah,
Everybody AI this, AI that.
I've actually found an integration that I like. Amazon is now using an AI system to scan the feedback, the reviews and comments, and pull out keywords, both positive and negative, which is pretty cool. And then if you click on one of them, you can actually see relevant comments.
Yeah, I didn't
explain.
I didn't know that was AI. I did notice that, and that is extremely helpful. But yeah, I did not know that was from AI.
Yeah, when you click on one of the terms, it'll actually take you, and it says this was compiled by using AI technology. And it's actually really helpful because a lot of times I'll search for certain words, and you can find comments based on that, but to have the keywords that bubble up like that, especially something that's got like a battery, and it'll have like red battery, and you click on it and it's like all the people are like having problems with the battery or something. So anyway, it's actually pretty smart use of that kind of technology, and it's probably one of the first ones that has been genuinely useful for me personally.
So it says they laid off 60 jobs, which is 5% of their workforce. So that means they had 1,200 people working for Mozilla. That's way more than I thought. No, they were that big. Yeah, what are they doing? Yeah. Oh, here's some of what they were doing. Some of their products. They just released Mozilla Monitor, a new paid service where you can see if. Well, they've had Mozilla Monitor for a while, but now they have a paid service.
Pro.
Yeah, a pro service that's I think $9 a month or something. But,
14.
Oh, is it really?
It's expensive.
So the original Mozilla Monitor, which still exists, it just tells you if any of your info was involved in a data breach. Now, what the paid version says they can
plus
they can scrub your data from data brokers.
They can request.
Yeah, how do they do that? They just write a letter.
You can request. You can go. There are literally hundreds of data brokers. Not all of them are as important as others, but you can go to the site and search for your data, put in a request for some. I don't think it's wide open that you can obviously just search for data, or it shows you redacted. When you search, it'll show you kind of like the redacted version of data they have on you, and then I think it's like law that they have to allow you to request to take your data down because it's technically your data.
That was part of
that
what was that thing that
That's
happened in the
EU
EU?
deal.
Yeah. What was that called?
I don't know.
That's why you have to accept cookies on every single website now.
So the yearly
was part of
price is what I was thinking about. It comes out to $9 a month.
Oh, $9. Okay.
But the monthly, you're right, is $14 a month.
So what I've heard though is basically that as an intermediary or a proxy that they can request that the data be removed, but I don't know that the companies have to honor that. That's the criticism I've heard so far.
That was my whole hang up about it. What's going to make these people actually take your data down? I mean, what incentive do they have to do that just because you asked them to?
Well, that was
the
part
law?
of that. Yeah, that was part of that law. See, now I'm gonna have to look it up.
It says they search across 190 data broker sites that sell people's private information. If we find your data on any of these sites, we initiate the request for removal. Data removal can take anywhere from a day to a month. So that's available for the Plus users.
So PC World has an article from 2 days ago called "Data Brokers Have Your Personal Info. Here's how to wipe it clean." With a subheading of "Removing yourself from these databases is an aggravating version of whack-a-mole." More tools and services have cropped up to help you combat this Hydra-like problem, whether you're making the opt-out request yourself or outsourcing that work. I think maybe it's like a do not call list kind of thing.
GDPR.
Mornsey posted it. GDPR.
Yeah.
General Data Protection Regulation.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did look at this Mozilla Monitor, and I thought, $8.99, that's not bad. And then I realized that's only if you pay for a year, and that's the monthly price for a year subscription. I thought it was $8.99 a year, and I was like, oh, sign me up. I'll try it out. See how, but no, it's $14 a month, $8.99 a month if you sign up for a year, which comes up to $107.88 before tax. So they can keep my data. But anyway.
And this isn't a unique product either. McAfee Plus Premium has a similar service. There are probably dozens of different companies.
Yeah, somebody on Lemmy mentioned a service they use, and they said it was pretty good, but I forgot what it was called. So Mozilla Monitor, as far as the products that Mozilla, they recently got rid of Mozilla Hub, which I don't know what that was, but that was one of their recent announcements along with the layoffs. Let's see.
Apparently the issue is that they have to keep going back and requesting with the same. Unfortunately, this lack of privacy online is mostly a problem in the United States, which lacks data regulation like in Europe. But that could eventually change going forward. Starting in 2026, California residents can make a single opt-out request that will apply to all data brokers, thanks to a law called the Delete Act. While this won't affect the rest of the nation, other state legislatures could pick up the banner. So, okay, there is no law, I guess. And it sounds like even if you request it, that they can re-add you at some point after a certain amount of time or something. So why even take it down in the first place? That doesn't make any sense.
Mozilla VPN, you guys remember that?
Yep.
What were you
I know
say,
people
Hunky?
that actually use it.
Mozilla Hubs is, it says, Mozilla Hubs is the go-to virtual platform for educators, teams, and organizations. And it's got these pictures of this weird virtual area. I guess it's supposed to be used for teaching and stuff. I don't understand who would use this and why? And or it seems very. If most of your job is just to create a a freaking useful web browser, this doesn't seem like anything that would be in that spectrum of things.
Yeah,
So,
I never understood what it was. I think I glanced cursorily, is that a word? At what it does, but I didn't really get the gist of it. But it's for education mainly, you said?
yeah. I mean, if you look at the here, I'll drop a link real quick.
Pocket, they bought Pocket. Remember that? It's like
Oh yeah, the bot pocket.
newsreader. Yeah. I use Wallabag, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Firefox Relay for making burner email accounts. Oh, they mentioned Firefox Focus. Isn't that what you use, Fat Boy?
That's the
Sorry, yeah. Yeah, on the phone, Firefox Focus is pretty good on the phone.
Yeah. Firefox Send, an encrypted file transfer service. Do you remember this? A VR-focused Firefox reality browser?
no.
I don't remember that at all.
Well, I mean, it's something that's VR focused. So
It said Rust, the programming language, was spun out of Mozilla in 2020. I didn't know that.
really,
Yeah, so I know about the Rust Foundation, but I didn't know that Mozilla started it. So they've had lots of projects.
For the last month or so, I've actually been using Firefox as my main browser and coming off Chrome. Few teething issues, but it's not been too bad.
Mm-hmm. It said currently Firefox is the only browser that can't trace its lineage back to Apple and WebKit as far as active browsers.
Yep. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, which is good.
It's wonderful, and that's the thing that kind of kills me is that they had what, like 60% at one point, 55, 60%. And at the time, obviously it was the best browser that wasn't like Internet Explorer or Safari if you even ever used Safari. And they won by merit alone. I used Firefox because it was just such a better experience than anything else that was available. And so it wasn't advertising, it wasn't, market control, privileged position on my systems where they could reach out to me. Like, I kind of heard about it grassroots and like just sort of found it. I mean, obviously I was an IT professional, so that was a different level of computer usage. But like, it won because it was just better. And I think that's what they should shoot for, is to just make it such a better experience for people that once they try it, if you can get them to try it, then they just, there's no roadblocks. Unfortunately, there's a lot of development companies that are just developers that ignore Firefox or even are outwardly hostile to it. One of my medical portal systems that I have to use for my doctor just literally says this is an unsupported browser, a banner that comes up whenever I go to log in. I can still get in, it'll let me log in, but both times, like when I first get to the login screen, this is an unsupported browser, and then after I've logged in, it says it again. I'm like, fuck you, I'm using this browser. But it's just shitty because like normal people who might be using Firefox will get to something like that and be like, well, should I actually be using this browser? Right. And I know they do it because they just don't want to do the testing, which isn't hard because Firefox tends to follow standards better than Chrome does. Chrome likes to break them whenever that's convenient for them. It's frustrating.
The big worrying point to me is brought up in this article too, is that 80% of Firefox's or Mozilla's funding comes from Google by having their search within the Firefox browser, and
that's leadership.
That's very unhealthy.
That's a leadership issue. I'm saying, I think there are probably enough companies or consortiums or grants. There's got to be enough money in the world to fund this the only viable alternative to a complete single market dominance by a major corporation. That is a frightening thing, to have that much of a monoculture, you know?
Their current products, they list the ones we already went over, but also a Sea Monkey, Thunderbird. Yep, Thunderbird. Firefox components, or Gecko, Neko, Rhino, Servo. Oh, here's something interesting. Here's the graveyard of Firefox, kind of like the Google graveyard. Bonsai, web-based interface. Camino, do you remember that? That was a browser for Mac OS.
Yep, I do. I actually used Mac whenever that was a thing.
Yeah, I remember Camino as well. Let's see, Firefox OS. How about that? You guys remember that?
Yeah, it's mobile.
Yep.
Yeah, for smartphones and tablets. I forgot all about that.
It was evidently popular in third world countries for a very, very short amount of time. But
was it? The
was never
Firefox
took
OS?
off. It was meant for
the Firefox
lower-end
phones were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Firefox phones.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then they had another browser for handhelds called Minimo, which I don't remember that. But that was for it says handheld devices, not necessarily mobile devices. And then Sunbird, I don't know if you guys remember that. That was their calendar application.
Yep, I used it.
But I think Thunderbird just integrated that within itself. So
Firefox Send is listed on mine. I'm looking at Wikipedia as being
you're right.
abandoned. Yeah.
It is. And I think I tried Firefox Send when it came out. I had completely forgot about it, but
it was okay. It was a little slow for big files, so I think that there are better alternatives for that. Again, I think these are interesting sort of experiments with web technologies, but they just look like a big list of distractions. Like, who is still using Sea Monkey? Like, why bother? Like, if you have any development effort going into that, like, why?
Well, what do you think is their best way to make money without depending on Google?
Ask for it. They're going to have to find another Google that isn't Google, because that's like taking, that it is literally the enemy, and the enemy is placating them. And I think by giving them just enough money to function, but not
in order to prevent themselves from being a full-on true monopoly, they are funding their competition. Competition.
Right.
Now I thought if they could invent a search, have you ever heard of Kagi search? It's a paid search engine, but it's so good that lots of people use it because they said it's just that good, and it's ad free and stuff, and but I think it's $5 a month. Starts at $5 a month, but it's supposed to be an excellent search engine, and now it's profitable. If they could get into a product like that actually ties into the browser, instead of saying we're going to build AI into Firefox now, maybe that could get people to pay for it. I don't know.
So they give you 100 searches this is Kagi, 100 free searches to get started. And then $5 a month for 300 searches per month. That's $10
like
a month. Yeah, I know. So I'd have to do the $10 unlimited. And then they have a $25.
What
for
does $25
features.
get you?
It says all in professional plus access to our most advanced features. Doesn't say what those are, but
it better be good for $25 a month.
It's
AI.
Hey,
if there is a search company that is profitable, being a paid search option, I think that's a great thing, because I think it's probably for people who are just so sick of,
data
I would want to
harvesting
know.
and being advertised to, and all, because you go to Google now and like half the links on the first page are all advertisement. They're all sponsored links and stuff, kind of like what Amazon is doing.
Well, Joe, and you said the AI, so the $10 plan gives you unlimited access to Fast GPT and Universal Summarizer, which must be their AI stuff. So, I mean, honestly, and you save 10% if you do an annual plan.
So what would let's just go away from Mozilla as a whole. What would Firefox have to do to become a much better browser for more people to accept it?
I think it would have to be faster and use less memory in general, because I do have probably 50 tabs open between different container groups, but it uses even for people that are using just maybe 10 tabs, like it uses a lot of memory, and so I've found that when I have it open, first of all, it takes a long time to restore everything, so it's a little slow compared to other implementations of the Chrome browser. So I think just overall, in general, having it be lighter weight, feel faster would be great, and whatever sort of engine improvements would need to be made to have that happen. Memory usage, I think, would be, good. I like this, that, they have the Firefox, the Facebook
The
container
jail,
built in. I think that's a really smart thing.
I love, I never started using this until you brought it up, Eric, was the containerized tabs, like personal and work and stuff like that.
Yep.
That's awesome, because I have several email accounts with it, that I host on my own server. But yeah, each email account could be in its own tab, so I'm not logging in and out.
Yep.
Joe brought this up not too long ago, that Firefox will get a real test whenever Google starts its, what is it called, Joe, with Chrome? That it's going to make it a lot easier or a lot harder to install ad blockers and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're putting in that thing where they're only allowed to have like 100 add-ons per extension or something like that, which is going to kind of brick uBlock Origin.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the whole point, is to brick uBlock Origin. So
yeah,
or
I think
any
they've been trying for years to do that. Yeah.
I think we will at least get some users to move to Firefox when that happens. I don't know how many.